Hit you with another one of them old phenomenal shits.
Hey everyone, Chris here from Undrlvld. Welcome back to the channel. And first, I want to thank everyone for all the support we've been getting on our videos. Our last video reached around 1,200 views, completely blowing my expectations away. I think before that, it was, our intro video had 160, and one of the other videos I had reached like 90, so 1,200 is a big leap from all of that. So again, thank you for all the support, and let's try to keep the momentum going. I want to remind everyone that we have our giveaway at 100 subscribers. We're going to be giving away a Naruto figure. It's going to pop up somewhere. But again, 100 subscribers, we'll be tossing that to one of you guys. Not sure how we're going to go about picking you, but we'll figure something out. We're smart cookies. Smart cookies. And, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, all that jazz so you can keep up to date with my wacky opinions on things. And, links for our social medias and whatnot will be in the description down below. So today I'm going to be going over the Unearthed Arcana, Travelers of the Multiverse that was released not too long ago. I'm going to be giving kind of like an overview and impressions. I'm not really going to read through everything. There's plenty of other videos for that if you want to hear someone read through it. I would recommend Ted from Nerd Immersion. But here I'm just kind of giving my opinions on some things that caught my eye while I was going through it. But again, this is all playtest material. Some of the races might not even make it in the book, which of course is, the Monsters of the Multiverse book that's coming out in January. Some might not make it in there, some might be drastically different. This is just, nice little tease for us. The PDF goes through kind of some generic information like, ability score increases, +2 to one ability score, +1 to another, or +1 to 3 separate ability scores. Seems everyone's going to know Common and one other language moving forward. Interesting that they're having it be one other language, not like they're like, if you're an elf, not like Common, Elvish, and one other. It's just like Common or one other. So maybe you could be a dwarf that was raised by elves and speaks Elvish. So I guess that's probably why they leave it open to that. It also lists like creature types. So hopefully the variety of creature types that we'll get in the new book, since it's gonna have like 30 plus playable races in it. Stuff like giants, celestials, plants, elementals, all that stuff. I hope we get to play them all once we get our hands on the book. Lifespan, height, weight, that's just stuff that we're pretty accustomed to. But first up, we have the Astral Elf. And again, highly recommend everyone go download the Unearthed Arcana. I'll have a link in the description below. Definitely worth the read. So the Astral Elf is an elf from the Feywild that has relocated to the astral plane for their gods. They're imbued with like a spark of divine light, and they live longer, like thousands of years in the astral plane. They leave the astral plane, they kind of lived a little more typical 750 years that an elf would learn. Curious to see, how people play it. I mean, you could be like a level 1 character that's lived for 1,000 years. Might be kind of interesting to roleplay. Time has little meaning to them, and as a result, they're pretty much like kind of emo hermits or explorers, of course, of the multiverse, because that's the big thing that we got going on. Their traits, however, so we have Astral Fire. You gain access to a cantrip, be it Dancing Lights, Light, or Sacred Flame. Pretty interesting. Always nice to get an extra spell, and these elves are a lot more even thematically divine than the other elves off the top of my head. Radiant Soul, you succeed a death save, and you get some hit points back. Hit points, it would be a proficiency plus either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. I guess that would you choose that, when you pick the race, you pick your class and whatnot, and it's once a long rest. So that's pretty cool. You can get yourself back up. It's be especially useful if you got a crit fail on a death save and then you succeeded. Trance proficiencies. Pretty much you finish a long rest and you gain 2 proficiencies of your choice. One weapon it could be like 2 weapons, 2 tool proficiencies, or one of each, and it resets, after every long rest. Autonome. They are a construct. There you go, and getting that variety. Built by rock gnomes to be assistants. Essentially, they glitch out, and that's how they gain like their independence, so to speak. What I found interesting though is how they're powered, be it by gears or stardust, but apparently they can even have like beating hearts inside of them. I think that would be really interesting and maybe add a lot of like, drama to your campaign if you're like a construct that has maybe even someone else's beating heart in it, or maybe you died and they somehow transmuted you into the autonome body and they put your heart in there. A lot of interesting possibilities there. And they give you a nifty little table. Let me pull it up right here. They give you a little nifty table that you can roll on to kind of come up with like little flavors for your backstory if you can't think of anything. Traits wise, armor casing. While you're not wearing armor, your AC is 13 plus Dex. Pretty cool. Not quite as tanky as like, the Warforged with their integrated protection, but still it's better than nothing. Mechanical nature. I would consider to actually be better than the Warforge's constructed resilience. They both provide resistance to poison damage and immunity to disease, and advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and they don't need food and water, so that's the same between Warforged and the Autonome. However, the Autonome also gains advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed, so that's where they kind of get the one-up on the Warforged. True Life lets you heal a little bit from a mending spell. You can expend 1 hit dice plus your constitution to heal yourself a little bit. And that's just on a cantrip. It doesn't even say that it's like limited to how many times you can do it. So I guess it's just limited on your hit dice, which is really useful if you can't afford to take a short rest in between combat encounters. And I'm not sure if they're going to keep this for when it's released, because this seems kind of powerful, especially if they're going to have other constructs. Autonomes can be healed by healing with regular healing spells too. From what I understand, constructs can't be healed by, be it like a cure wounds, but autonomes can. So, maybe that's because they can have like an organic heart as like a power source for them. So that could be why, how they kind of justify that. GIF. Hippo People. I mean, I don't really know what else there's to say about that. They are Hippo People. I would definitely want to play one. So, some nifty traits from them. You got Damage Dealer, which lets you reroll ones on your damage die for melee attacks once per turn, and essentially it's great weapon fighting. So, a slightly more limited great weapon fighting, but nonetheless gives you an opportunity to pick up another fighting style if you want to. And Hippo Build. Hippo Build gives you advantage on strength, ability checks, and saving throws. You count as one size larger for determining carrying capacity, and weight you can push, drag, or lift. It's similar to some of the benefits you would get from like a Barbarian's Rage. So these are definitely, it seems to me, definitely more of like a martial class type race. And it's pretty cool. I mean, you're getting all these extra benefits. I'm curious if they're going to make that into a habit of taking like class features and stuff like that, and kind of maybe toning them down a bit and making them into racial features. I think we're about to find out the answer to that. Next up, I'm always gonna butcher this name. Uh, Hidozi? Hidozi? Someone who can speak English better than me, please tell me in the comments below how you would correctly pronunciate this. I would appreciate that. But Gliding Monkey People is my code name for them. They have a pretty like their flavor text isn't all that informative. It just kind of tells you generalities about their culture. Their traits, however, they have a few interesting ones. Dexterous feet. You can use an object action as a bonus action. Essentially, the thief rogue's class feature fast hands. Bam, you just get it right there. So I kind of just answered my own question. You got glide. While you're not incapacitated or wearing heavy armor, you can glide. When you fall, for every foot that you fall, that you descend, you can move horizontally 5 feet. So that's your glide, and you can use a reaction to avoid fall damage. So it'd be pretty cool. You can just like dive down at people like that. That's pretty cool. It's pretty useful. Next up, one that I really want to play, Plasmoid Ooze. I want to play as an ooze, man. That sounds like it'd be a blast. Their flavor text essentially just goes on about how they kind of adapt to being around other beings, how they consume food, how they poop it out pretty much, and a little bit about their physiology. So with that information alone, it'll help you to kind of justify you being an ooze and how you'll be able to like roleplay interactions with other types of characters. Traits. You got, let me lift this on up a little bit. Got amorphous, so you can squeeze through 1-inch wide spaces, always useful. However, you can only do so while you're not wearing or carrying anything, so it kind of limits it. Maybe with this, go with a class where you're not really relying on armor, maybe like a spellcaster using mage armor or something like that, and you have advantage on escaping grapples. Natural resilience, resistance to acid and poison damage, and advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. Always nice, makes sense, you're an ooze. Shape self. While you're not incapacitated, you can reshape your body. You can grow like a head, arms, legs, or revert to your limbless blob form. As a bonus action, you can extrude a pseudopod that's 6 inches wide, 10 feet long, and it can do things like simple things like manipulate an object. It can't attack, can't activate magic items, and it can't carry more than 10 pounds. Being able to carry 10 pounds will definitely come in handy. I was actually looking at another PDF called Valda Spire of Secrets. They have a sorcerer subclass. I believe it's called the Ooze Master. The moment I saw this, I was like, oh man, it'd be cool to play a Plasmoid sorcerer Ooze Master, just completely go all in on the ooze thing. But I'm gonna brainstorm that. The last race that we're gonna be going over is the thri-kreen. Again, English speakers out there, let me know. Give me the correct pronunciations. Inglés, muy difficult for me. But this is a monstrosity. In their flavor text gives you a little bit of details on their physiology, the sleep patterns, and other habits. Their traits, however, chameleon carapace. While not wearing armor, AC 13 plus dex. That seems to be the standard they're going with these new races. Action, you can change the color of your carapace to match the color and textures of your surroundings, giving you advantage on stealth checks. So you got a sneaky boy here. You get your secondary arms. So you got 4 arms with this guy. The additional 2 arms are smaller than your primary arms. So your arms, the small arms you can wield light weapons all night. This next part is something I don't like. You can't wield a shield. I've never held a sword or the vast variety of shields that I'm sure are out there. I kind of wish you could have like your smaller arms together holding a shield and your big arms having like a great sword. I kind of feel like that would be it would just be really cool. It'd be really cool like if this was like the only race that could have like a two-handed sword like that and use a shield. So I hope that they change it. I know if I was a DM, I would probably let them use both hands, both hands on the shield, like using it like that. But we'll see what they do with the official release. Sleepless revitalization. You don't need to sleep for your long rest. You just have to refrain from strenuous activities. And their telepathy. This I thought was kind of interesting. So you can talk to any amount of creatures as you want. They just have to be within 20 feet of you. And I'm assuming, even though I don't think it specifically says it in the description, well, I mean, it says communicate, so I mean, I'm assuming that they can just talk back to you, which is a step up from the Gem Dragon. Gem Dragon, they can telepathically communicate to things too, but it specifically says they can't respond, and they have to be within 30 feet. So this is an upgrade for that. Overall, I'm loving this. Yeah, do I think some of the races are a bit too powerful? Yes, but like they say, they kind of do that on purpose. We'll see what they're like when the book comes out, and I will definitely go over these when I do my coverage of that book. But I'm really curious to see what other races we're going to get in the book. Now that I know that we're going to be getting completely new races in that book, sign me up. Sign me up. I can't wait to see what they do. But that covers this Unearthed Arcana. Um, Again, we got our giveaway at 100 subscribers. We're gonna be giving away that Naruto figure. That's gonna be somewhere here. And what you have to look forward to is we gotta have a Kickstarter. The Borcubos, the Lost Islands setting in Latin American monsters by Legendary Games. I'm gonna be covering that. That's gonna be my next video. Because I mean, I'm Mexican. It's kind of up my alley. My two got two things right there. They're melding together. I want to see how that works out, and I'm really excited to go over that. Sucks that I didn't get a chance to support the Kickstarter, but hey, let's go. Let's check that out. They have some preview PDFs that I'll be going through. I also know that preview copies for Fizzbands has been going out. I did not get one because I'm not that important yet, but I'm gonna be keeping tabs on what people talk about, what they release. I'm not gonna, screenshot other people's streams and videos and provide content to you guys like that. I'm just gonna pay attention. When I hear enough cool stuff, I'll make like a short 5-10 minute video going over some of the cool stuff as like a preview for when I eventually cover the whole book for myself. We also are going to have details of a new book tomorrow. Thank you, Amazon, for the heads up. It's going to be the book that is releasing March 15th, 2022. We're going to learn about that tomorrow. I'll probably come out with another 5-10 minute video going over that. And then I'm going to be going through my first book review. This will be on Valda's Spire of Secrets by Mage Hand Press. It's going to be my first book review. It'll probably be in a similar format to this, where I'm not necessarily going to read through everything, and I'm not going to go like page to page. I'll probably just pick some of the most important things to me and some of the things that excite me the most and go through that as the coverage. And then, of course, we're going to finish off the month with Fizzbands Treasury of Dragons. I know I want to compare that to other books like Legendary Dragons from Jetpack 7 and the Draconomicon on the DM's Guild. Not really sure how I'm going to go about doing all of that yet, but you're definitely going to get the Fizzbands coverage, and I'm definitely going to be comparing it to how third-party content creators have been handling dragons. Kind of see who does it in a more interesting way. Of course, we're gonna have other little things like I know Boulder's Larian Studios, Boulder Gates 3. I know they're gonna have more information towards the end of the month. I know DC Comics has their DC fandom coming at the end of this week, so I'm gonna be going over all of that. And yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, you get one video that goes over 1,000 views, and you get super pumped up to do this stuff. So I don't expect every video to be 1,000 views or even 100 views moving forward, but definitely nice to know that I can do it. Thank you again for everyone for all of your support. Stay safe and have yourself a good day.